Wike must go.
Wike must go.
He is an unnecessary distraction in the FCT. But President Bola Tinubu must remove Wike as Minister of FCT. He's bringing unnecessary distraction to the government. We as responsible citizens, we cannot accept this kind of uncouth, indecorous person to continue to pilot the affairs of FCT. His actions are avoidably controversial and hurting, and his diction has been foul, combative, and condescending, as if he is a deliberate punishment sent to the people of the Federal Capital Territory by President Tinubu. In years on Wike's alleged penchant for land grabbing and cronyism has begun to emerge, as some of the land reforms are suspected to be targeted at dispossessing Nigerians of their properties and reacquiring them through cronies. There is tension in the FCT today under the brutal and sometimes criminal Wike is coming menace.
This particular story is one that is very important, and I told myself no matter the timeline it has happened, I must report it, because I'll be doing a disservice to my country if I don't add my voice to issues like this and push it a bit further, even if to just one more person, for us as Nigerians to know how important this case is. And please, if you're a Nigerian, this video must be taken very serious and pushed. One of the reasons why Nigerian politicians do not rate Nigerians, do not bother to invest in Nigeria, do not bother about the worth of lives in Nigeria, is because they have hidden their cash, their investment, their wealth, and then they are taking their family out of the atmospheric control of Nigeria into nicer places or nicest places and don't care about us. And that's why yes, some Wike will laugh at us and mock us and rather invest in the most frivolous, the less priority things in the country, irrespective of what Nigerians are requesting for. So more election, of course, you should have heard by now that it's been back and forth between the both of them in recent time, to the point that Wike slammed him in a public event and said that he was lucky that it was Tinubu that was president. So if it was you, Wike would have done. And Moeles did not take that lightly. He has further gone to exposing Wike, expose him to the point that he has now written officially to the Attorney General of the state of Florida, United States, where Wike is being reported initially to have had 3 mansions that him and his wife bought some time ago and transferred to their 3 children in 2023. In fact, Moeles is even reporting that there is a 4th one now around Winter Springs in the US. And this is why this is important, let me tell you. When the time comes for Nigeria to take back their countries, or take back their country, or take back our country, one of the things that we have to start to do now is to begin to mark where these people are likely going to go and take as their abode, and begin to do everything legally to ensure that these things, let me tell you, if Nigerian political class are made to have all of their investment in Nigeria, they are made to have their healthcare in Nigeria, have their families reside in Nigeria, have education, no matter, you see, the money it takes for you to live that kind of life, right? And no matter how you try to garnish it and make your life portable, you will see a bit of improvement in the well-being of Nigerians. It is because they have this confidence that bad as it bad, they'll go rest. I have been told that one of Wike's sons spent lavishly in the UK here and live all this kind of life. Goes to clubs and spends and all of the things. And now they're also going. They also have now, we have now seen that Wike and his wife, Eberechi, Nyesom Wike, who is a court of appeal judge in Nigeria, have now. When Wike was asked this question by Shehu Kibaloye on Channels TV, he shoved it off with a wave of hands. He's not aware if my wife bought this, if my wife is an American citizen. And then I'm asking Wike, you are not aware, but documents here are revealing, as you can see, of Wike's involvement. In short, there is a quit deed claim the Omoisholo has now officially obtained and released, where Wike and his wife officially transferred the properties to their children. You see, deliberately, you see what these guys are doing? Unfortunately, one idiot and one mugu from our order is there defending this nuisance Because for you, it is political ascribation. I don't know if the English is correct. Political connection. For you, Wike is your God. I was in Ahoda for some days, some years ago. I couldn't breathe because the air is polluted. You could see literal black skies because all of this mining done is hazardous. Yet, there is no hospital, there is no health center that is qualitative enough. A man has governed your state for 8 years. I'm not saying Wike is the worst of governors, but a man has governed your state for 8 years. There is no better life for you. There is nothing that has proven that as rich as River State, Ahoda is a very huge community. I was disappointed. And then you are going to hail and tell me to shut up my mouth. The same thing when we call all of these useless politicians together. The people from their state, the only thing that they have as pride is that they have a big man. May God forgive us our sins and deliver us from this maliciousness. So because I have an Adam Soshomole who governed my state, ask me how Adam Soshomole benefited me. Currently now with all of his political meandering and prostitution, how has he benefited me? How has the former governors benefited me? What am I gaining from them? As a young man living my life, I take care of myself, I take care of my family. So I'm here going to be a hero worshiping an idiot that doesn't concern, that doesn't know if I associate, if I'm alive. That's how you guys are hailing Wike. Hailing him. Anybody that talks about him, you see the multitude of the people from his region. It is not about tribal protection of thieves and criminals. I hope the houses he has around the world, you have a share in them. I hope all of these mansions that they are building, there is a space for you when the time comes. This is the more reason. And this is not sugarcoating anything. Go well done to Omoyesho, even if I'm not comfortable for the fact that it was when Wike called you out, you now decided to release all of this information. But we are going to support this. We push it further. We will add our voices. We will not let this slide. Wike and the rest of his political thieves, all of them will relinquish all of these things. And guess what? Don't think this is a joke. Oh. The systems that run abroad is not the same. Thank God you know, of course, there have been several movements by the US government showing lack of support for the kind of ways African leaders are leading. If it is established that money used in those mansions are proceed from corruption, or you cannot provide a genuine reason how the money came, I can tell you can lose them. And many politicians, there's one currently going on in the UK now where Jeremiah, former military administrator J.T. Useni, is claiming that, he tried to use a pseudo brand to own it. The court has established that this one is your own. First, they are now going to go into details of how you acquired it and whether it was acquired legally. And that's how abroad works. That's why many of these guys like Nigeria. And that's when you hear that business flourish in Nigeria. The idea is that they can do all of this legality. And I'm not telling you that this is Uhuru yet, but I'm telling you this is a quality step in the quality direction. We must support causes like this at all costs, irrespective of your political thinking or ideology, irrespective of what you support. Anything. See, it is Nigeria. It is Nigerians versus them. We cannot be fighting ourselves and think that they are not working for us. These guys, like Shehu Kuti said, these guys know what to do, but they don't want to do it. They are not working for us. 99.99999% of the Nigerian political class do not care about me and you. And if you continue to care about them, you are only stupid.
Interesting points that you have rounded off with there. And I wonder if Peter has, a reaction to that. But in addition to that, Peter, President Tinubu is saying to you, you are the future of Nigeria. Continue to dream big. Do his programs and policies inspire you to dream big, Peter?
No, they do not. And I have had that statement for far too long, to continue to dream big. Thank you for having me, but let us state clearly that once Nigeria stops to glorify mediocre and incompetence in leadership, then we will begin to make progress. Because it is said that repeating the same action and expecting a different result is insanity. As a young person, when I see governance and the way political office holders conduct themselves, my belief is that Nigeria is being run by businessmen, political businessmen who see the country as cities, as customers for their personal trade, and not people who are necessarily viable for good leadership. Because it is unfortunate that 65 years after independence and 26 years after democracy, these are the same kinds of tales we hear. If the president is truly interested in laying or building a country that works for people, it is not about handing out cash or handing out bailouts or whatever to the youth. As my colleague rightly said, the issues of youth are the issues of Nigeria. Youth do not exist in a vacuum. We have families, we have mothers, we have siblings. The strength of every democratic nation is in the strength of its institutions. And we must move away from these plethoras of talks about trying to lay a foundation for 65 years. How long does it take to lay a foundation and then we build on it? The strength is supposed to be the strength of our institutions. And when I look at the President Tinubu administration, two things come to mind and I'll quickly tell you. Number one, the action of the president on the state of Rivers State. This is not talking about whether the declaration of a state of emergency was right or wrong, but I want to point out how the institutions are crumbling under this administration that claims to be helping the youth. The presidency woke up and suspended a duly elected governor and swore in a sole administrator before the National Assembly ratified. The National Assembly, that is supposed to be the hallmark of a democracy for checks and balances, decided to ratify with a voice vote and setting aside the necessary two-third majority that should have voted. And then the judiciary, that is supposed to be the last hope of the uncommon man, for 6 months was unable to sit and look at how legal or legitimate was the declaration. So across board, in a country that wants to produce a society viable for the youth, we are seeing executive, legislative, and judicial recklessness and irresponsibility. So for me, I think that it is more of talk and less of action. And secondly, the president talked about removing the corrupt oil subsidy. The problem with the subsidy regime in Nigeria that should have benefited the youth was not just subsidy, it was the corruption in the subsidy regime. Can President Tinubu come out and state clearly how much exactly have I saved from May 29, 2023 to today, October 2025? Imagine a British Prime Minister or a US President taking a serious reform as removal of subsidy, and the citizens do not know exactly how much was saved. So if you say fuel subsidy was corrupt and you took it out, and Nigerians do not know how much exactly was saved, where it is being reinvested to, how it is plugged into affecting the lives of the youth and other citizens, then it is decentralization of corruption. We should not be talking about increasing allocation to politicians or governors without accountability. So if there is no transparency and accountability in governance and a deliberate attempt to strengthen the institutions, what are the hopes of the youth or the young person that he truly loves the youth? Is ensuring that we have an electoral process that is seamless, that is credible, where young people who have the character and the capacity can vie for positions without violence and without being, witch hunted, and get into the system to become the leaders of today, because the tomorrow we are talking about is today that we are talking. So I think it is mischievous to have good talks and then we see direct actions that undermine the integrity of our institutions and the capacity of citizens to live as decent human beings in a democracy.
I could walk through some of the points that the president made about, this administration giving wings or continue to give wings for the youth to fly, how youths are encouraged to, yes, Bukola said, dream big and all of that. But I think it's clear now that Nigeria's problem is youth problem. So we shouldn't maybe separate it. If it's the economy, he's talking about the youth because we're 70%. Again, there's always a lot of dispute about that percentage. If it's security, the youth are also at the receiving end, either on both sides of it. But let me go back to Dr. Agbiti Douglas and speak to what the young Nigerians, again, it's a very tricky one, or what Nigerians need right now. Because for the president, he reeled out a lot of the achievements of his government, how the economy has grown beyond even the projection, balance of trade, the naira to dollar stabilizing and all of that. Why does it seem as though he gives out a lot of things being done, but when people look at it, it's hard for them to pick what is really affecting me? So is it a disconnect between what is being done and what is expected in terms of what is demanded and what is supplied? Is it that people see these things and they choose to look away? What exactly is the issue here? Because I think time and again we've come to this point and we've glossed over it.
Ayo, that's a really great question. And interestingly, I think the president himself answered it when he gave the speech yesterday. He said that, and I'm paraphrasing loosely, that even though, there's been all this work, that they are trying to do, his administration is trying to do to strengthen and build the economy, ultimately, his administration is going to be judged by the quality of education, how safe, we feel as Nigerians, the food that we eat, what goes into our bellies. So, yes, work has been done, but the price of food is still really high. Cost of transportation is really high. Rent prices are really high. So the truth of it is stuff may be given out, but it's not enough. It's not sufficient. And then it also brings me back to a point that we had earlier on about, the president said all hands need to be on deck. But what does that look like in practice? When we were coming up with these solutions, when the administration was coming up with these solutions and developing the funds, was there a co-creation process? Did they sit down with, young Nigerians, with civil society, when they crafted and designed these solutions? Or did we sit down? Because again, as a country, and all of us do this. We sit in our corners, we think about what we think is good for Nigeria. And on paper, we may not be wrong, but we're a complex country. There are all these nuances. And at the end of the day, government is there to serve its citizens. So you may come up with great policies that are great on paper, but if your citizens don't feel a sense of ownership or involvement, or feel that it connects with the concerns they actually have, it will be DOA, right? So 510,000 young Nigerians are benefiting from support in schools. But you're talking of 510,000 young people compared to, again, like you said, even if we want to debate the percentage, we'll still use that 70%. 70% of a projected 200 to 234 million people is a huge number. And 510 only begins to scratch the surface. And even of that 510, there's already murmurings and complaints and concerns about the process and how that is being distributed. So again, what I will say is, as a country, really, truly, if we do want to get it right, the way we develop policies, the way we implement them has to be inclusive. And I think, again, it goes back to that point of all hands being on deck. All hands being on deck doesn't just mean that we have some of us sat at one level making decisions solely. It does mean that when it comes to decision making, coming up with solutions, all voices, all perspectives need to be at the table and need to be factored into how we design and then eventually go on to implement our solutions. Nigeria's problem is not in coming up with solutions. It's usually, how they are crafted and then ultimately the sustaining and implementing them in the long run. So, I mean, I'll end my response here.
So you made a significant point earlier that got me thinking that if, the predominant issues of Nigeria are youth issues being, the predominant number of the population, then why are Nigerian youths not showing up as they ought to in the political space? Because when you consider that the crop of leaders that have ruled in the past rose to national prominence in their 30s or in their 40s. So is it a challenge of not showing up, or is it that the political space is limiting for Nigerian youths? Peter, I'd like you to take that.
Thank you very much. I think the answer is obvious. President Tinubu praises himself as one of the supporters of the June 12th mandate, the MKO Abiola, struggle, which of course was premised around free and fair elections. And today the system has become, 30 years later, we cannot have leaders who will come out and commit to a process that will be free, fair, credible, and peaceful. Do you know that in 2023, in the home state of the president, and this is on record and reported, citizens were physically beaten out of polling units in Lagos State for looking like a certain tribe? And if that is not an issue to political actors and leaders, then there is high-level mischief. It is not about the youth not wanting to be a part of it. It is a deliberate attempt at making the process become so violent and become so difficult that not only the youth, even persons of decent character and integrity will rather stay away. And that is why you hear the usual slogan, politics is a dirty game. Today, women are struggling to have, compensated seats in the Senate or in the parliament. Why? Because they believe that the process has become too rigorous for people who are non-violent or want to maintain a peaceful disposition to sail through. If you look at the entertainment sector, for example, where the youth took charge of that industry and have made a fortune out of something that was almost nothing without little or no support from the government. It then means that given the opportunity, Nigerian youth have proven to be ingenious and enterprising and ready to take every opportunity. But then you see a government that sets a not too young to run bill into place, and then the cost of the nomination form is about 100 million. So you are not too young to run, but you are also too poor to run. So across boards, it is not a matter of just paying lip service to these issues. If President Tinubu is interested in the welfare of the youth, no population will grow by handing out handouts. Since from presidents before Tinubu, even the Buhari administration, we had the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Hajia Umaru Sadiq. They said we were doing conditional cash transfers. How much and how many persons were pulled out of poverty? The Minister of Finance recently made a pronunciation that almost 400 billion have been distributed to about 30 million Nigerians. And my dear sister and my brother in the studio, how many persons do you know that benefited, or have you received your own share of that? Nigerians will not move forward through handouts. It is through policies that are going to enable persons of integrity and character to get into the system. And that is what Nigerians must insist on. Because as it is today, the National Assembly that should carry out checks and balances have become almost an extension of the presidency. It is the APC town hall where the president is greeted with his political mantra. The judiciary has proven that it has become the last hope of the uncommon man. So it is up to Nigerians to come together, mobilize, and insist that the right thing be done, and we, the youth, will not be waiting to be given the opportunity, but take up the leadership and insert ourselves into the equation.
And indeed, the engagement has begun here, but hopefully it continues beyond this platform to other platforms, such that the voices of Nigeria
Will US look away? Will Trump be silent? Will Tinubu continue to keep Mr. Wike in his cabinet? These are some of the questions that are bugging my mind. I used to tell them, say, activism no be cho-cho-cho. Activism no be content creation. You see the way Sowore respond to Wike? I think there will be some level of decorum in the country for some time now, as we monitor what will be the outcome of this level of allegation that Sowore has alleged or brought forward against this Wike. They will steal your money and come back to oppress you on top. They are buying property all over the whole world. The other day, it was the case of land allocation in Abuja to his children. Now, more evidence are coming that this guy has been in this business for some time, buying property all over the world. 3 highly valued properties are just been put forward by Sowore. Now, again, with the US government look away as if nothing has happened? With Trump's, I trust Trump. Trump no kukuma like kuna before. The man no kukuma like kuna face before. I'm very sure he will not be silent over this case. And President Tinubu, I think you are going to see the heat. The youths are not going to continue to look away. You guys are taking us for granted. You guys are taking us for granted too much. We'll be here and following the proceeding or what will happen
to this allegation. How Wike will be able to exonerate himself, or how the wife will be able to prove that she has earned those money legitimately, that she used to acquire those properties in the US. I'm very sure those are not all the property that need to be unraveled. They use shady companies. They use businesses to launder money. And they'll come back and say you should not talk. So let's see what happened in the following days. Kudos to Showore for the good job. I know people like go at the corner say activists. And I said they didn't do activism. It'll be noise making, it'll be content creation. You come out with substance. ESCC, when I learn from Showore, all those noise go and they make up and down, see they annoy me. Like when they make noise, they use our tax money, they make noise up and down. With that, but now they try so far, at least we can account for some of your sources, EFCC. But I think we should do better. We should investigate our issues completely before we start making noise on the media. Then the accused person or the suspect, we go back and clear their parts. You cannot trace what they have done because you are just making noise. Now, see, as FBI, they do their work. They will have finished their investigation, conclude everything before they will come out. Sometimes, if need be, they will keep the case undercover until they have enough opportunity to arrest the alleged person. Not be noise making, not baby parties, not baby fraud fighting, not baby this. You do your due diligence. This is a Wike. Today, I used to like you. I made content before that I used to say you are my kind of because your audacity. I know say nah, this kind of thing you are not talking to see. Let me make you get confident. You come and say every other person are slave because say you don't pack people wet. Come and say every other person they know they work hard, they don't go school. The papa not rich. Now let papa not rich. The papa not be wet to you. Other person then papa not go school. They don't work. They talk to people. They talk to Nigeria and they say, "Can you create them?" So we'll follow this case, and I'm very sure all Nigerians, wherever you are, you should begin to use your devices, investigate, find out properties that are traced to. So these are politicians. Let's begin to bring them out. We must get our country back. See you in the next one. Share this video. Let everyone share it to people in the US, share it to government presenters in the US, share it to everybody in Nigeria. Let them see what all these politicians are doing to you. One that can build several hospitals, that can do roads, that can make life better for people. But somebody even say that if like say something they wrong with my head, they don't have to loot. Now loot. Now sit there and leave the thing. That's something they wrong with my head. I don't get sense. All the acquisition, all they accumulate. Now go see can't leave them. Or can't leave them. Okay, you won't do and give them your children is gonna have. And if they don't follow, they too one time they will see die. They'll see can't leave them. Then you leave everybody in pains. That's not the best way to live. Let money that is coming to let it be used for the benefit of all. Then everyone will have peace. Because the little that you have, you can enjoy with peace. Don't to be going around with armed men, with police and soldiers. I saw one of your video, Mr. Wike, while you were in a church service, DSS everywhere. Because there's no peace, not the son and the thief. You go to church to even worship your God, if at all, you fear the God. soldiers everywhere. Because I know we'll get peace now. For all this Babatuna that they do. I know we'll get peace. Meanwhile, president of some nation, they can ride on their bike from their house to their office, and the house of nobody will send them. They will meet people at the bus station and have a handshake. Or they wear and they carry and they use when they buy armor because they don't spoil everywhere. Everybody's in pain because of the battle that they do. God himself could deliver that country from their hand. Not be God now. God will deliver that country from their hand. Nigeria must work. Again, see you in the next one. Share this video. Share with Ruthie.
Sorry, got Wike by the balls right now, and I'm loving it. Whether it ends up working out or not, but at least Wike is now making excuses and answering to somebody, and I'm loving how Sorry is dragging the U.S. government to get involved. But you know what surprised me is how there's still people, human beings, Nigerian citizens that are defending Wike, talking about Wike was the governor of a rich state, so of course he had access to those money to buy those mansions in America. You guys are forgetting to understand there is no government official individual that should make that much money that should be able to afford those mansions in America, not in Nigeria, but in America. Even American government officials, they don't even have access to half of that kind of wealth. But you guys, for some reason, love when corrupt politicians get away with their lawlessness. They don't have to answer to anybody. Like, come on. I just pray Sorry does not give up, because this is not even about being nice or being peaceful or taking the high road. No, you have to drag them, as in you have to hold them tight. Let them sweat. Let them answer questions.
You see, the drama between Omoyele Sowore and the FCT minister, the godfather of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has taught somebody like me a whole lot of things. A whole lot. Now I know why Nigerian politicians will continue to be scared of Omoyele Sowore. They really need to. And an investigative journalist who knows all your secrets. Now I know why they always not openly confront him regardless of what he say or do. He knows too much about them. And I hope Nigerians do everything to support and protect this guy. These are just the people we need more of in Nigeria. Obviously. Two things I learned from the incident, from the case between Sowore and Wike. One is that Sowore knows so much about the politicians that anyone that dare to confront him, he will just spread their secret in the public. We saw the case of Wike. Nobody ever believed that somebody can cut Wike to size in this manner. If Wike have seen that it was going to get to this extent, he would never have started a fight that was originally not his. Somebody was being called a criminal, not you. The person that was called a criminal didn't say a word, but you oversabi, you carry for head. Now you are being dragged. The person that calls you the person that you originally defended is relaxing on his own. You get the point now. That was a very big lesson. Nigerian politicians will continuously be scared of Omoyele Sowore because they know he have their details and secrets in their palm. The second lesson is that Omoyele Sowore has just proven to me, and I want to believe also to so many Nigerians, that His Excellency Peter Obi is actually clean. If you have not learned that from this issue, then you are a slow learner or you don't know how to learn at all. He has proven to the world that Peter Obi, His Excellency, does not have skeletons in his cupboard. So you can only attack him, you can only criticize him from your own personal hatred, and you say all manner of things against him. No evidence. I remember Obi had issues with Sowore, where he branded Sowore the blackmailer in chief. And Sowore never had the evidences to prove against Obi that Obi is truly corrupt and have stolen so much from the country, just like he has done against Wike. So that was just an evidence. So that now tells me that the man we are supporting to lead Nigeria is actually clean and qualified. Good enough. He has the credibility. Otherwise, I wonder if what Sowore is dragging Wike for now, say same, was being connected to Peter Obi. The Sowore you and I know will not hold back. Obviously. The two most credible people I have in mind to lead Nigeria to a greater height is this Obi and Showore. I will not pretend. But Obi become my first choice for reasons best known to me. That does not dispute the fact that if Showore is to lead Nigeria, I will not be happy. It will be one of the best things. But you and I know that the power that be now would rather let Obi rule Nigeria than to let Showore rule Nigeria. Because Showore rule Nigeria, hey, all the politicians, all the thieves are gone. They are all gone. So in a same system, where the people have their say, where the people decide what be, Showore would have been even better for president the way it is now. Showore would have been the best for now. But unfortunately, we don't have a society that understands anything like fixing the corrupt system. This system is rotting completely. And we are still hoping Tinubu continues. Some non-living things think Atiku will be better at 80s. You get the point? We are in a deep shit. So I don't know what you think, but Showore, Baba Show, electoral reform. A system where the people cannot decide who lead them. How can you become a president? I'm surprised you are not even leading a fight. You are not leading a challenge against this electoral reform. Why? Without a credible election, how would somebody like Showore be a president? Even cancel law in Nigeria, you will not win. Because you will just be doing what you are doing. They will be writing results in your name. Just like it is the current status quo. You get the point? So please, I wish Showore would one day see reasons. Because we said this before. So many people have said it. Apart from joining the coalition, we thought, because there was a time we suggested you join the coalition, that we actually thought the coalition was for Nigerians. But now we know better. There will be nothing wrong in Showore pairing up with Peter Obi. Have you ever imagined the pair of these two? One is intelligently calm and has the leadership quality, while the other one is also brutally intelligent and also have the leadership quality in his own style. What if they pair to say, okay, let's truly rescue Nigeria. Let's make Nigeria the project. Let's make Nigeria first. What will happen? Will it not be the best thing? But yet, Showore still have one reason or the other to be fighting Obi. We don't know why. And that is making so many people who used to love Showore beginning to like, why is this guy like this? Is he envious? Is he jealous? Yes, I understand that before Obi, Showore was actually the one in the spotlight. Yeah, let's be very honest. So, but you have every reason to believe that Obi have come to steal his to remove him from the spotlight, and hence some people believe he felt jealous. But I don't want to believe that. I just feel it's still the politics. He's trying to bring that guy down to be able to put himself at the top where he wants to be. But this is not the time for that now. Omoyele Showore, please. Many people still believe that Obi is more credible than you, Showore. I know you will not understand. Nobody can say you have stolen. No. That is, many people still believe it's because you've not held any political office in Nigeria. Really, you have not. Obi was a two-time governor. If after 8 years as a governor of Anambra State, they could not say this where he's still, that gives him a whole lot of credibility. Same cannot be said about Showore. Somebody will still tell you hasn't been tested. You obviously say no. Word enough cannot prove anything. But I know Showore doesn't look like a thief, but we don't always know who will steal. So that's why people are still rating Obi in terms of credibility ahead of Showore. But if they pair up, bro, Nigeria will see the light, obviously. I don't know what you think about this, you that are seeing this video, but if it makes any sense to you, if there's any way we can talk to Showore, please, let's do it. If we have to go and gather and beg him, it is very important. We need these two people in the same boat. Obviously, we do. It will do Nigeria a whole lot of good. If you've never thought of it before, now that Odalo is saying it, give it a thought and let me know.
I've heard a lot of people say that Omoyele Showore works for this current administration, but it's not true. I can tell you that it's not true. You know, and the reason why a lot of people we say it is because Omoyele Showore causes a kind of political division that's giving distractions, you know, from us focusing on what we need to do, because we are crying at taking our country back. Omoyele Showore can't be talking down all the political aspirants, all right? That's on its own, all right? That's not actually why we're here. Why I'm here this evening is to talk about what's going on between Omoyele Showore and Wike, the FCT minister. You know, Omoyele Showore has come out to give us a deep expose, a great secret on how a lot of looted funds in Nigeria, you know, has been used to buy properties worth hundreds of millions of dollars in Wike's name in collaboration with his wife, who is supposed to be, you know, a chief judge in Nigeria, allegedly. Now, we could see that Wike had come to the television station to say those properties were gifts or are gifts, you know, from an in-law or a family member to his own family. But Omoyele Sowore has brought a lot of documents that shows that those properties, or that shows the transactions of those properties. You see, sometimes when you think that you are the Lord of the Ring, always remember that there's a saying in Pidgin that says that where some people crease stop, now there some other people crease start. All right, we all know that Omoyele Sowore has one of the biggest media outfits in Africa, which is called Sahara Reporters. This guy can go to an extent and get facts and evidences and information of what he needs. All right, you know, to nail you if you want to nail you. And this is what is playing right now, as it were. There is a summit that is to take place in America in few days from now. It's organized by the United Nations, and every president of every nation is supposed to be fully represented. In that summit. But our president is not going to be there. We all know the reason why our president will not want to go to America for this summit. It's not a thing we should start debating here. We all know this whole antecedents about our president and the American states, country, as it were. So, and also Wike is not going to go because Sowore has told America to investigate those properties and how those proceeds that were used in buying those properties, they were looted funds, which is actually a crime in the American country. So right now, Wike is actually not going to go. But if Wike still stand on the fact that those properties were given as a gift, let him go for that summit if he will make it back. All right? So the truth basically is that I keep telling people that truth is always plain. Don't lie over things, because one day those lies, they will bring up their ugly heads. Always be honest, always be truthful. You see, even on the television, what happened between Sowore and our president, where the DSS wrote to X that they should bring down Showore's account. And you know, they wrote to Sowore. Sowore said, it can't delete those allegations because there are facts on the internet space, on the public space, until it is proven, you know, not guilty. But as it were right now, there are facts. So he's not going to bring those, you know, allegations down. That's what he said. And now he has even taken it further by taking it legal, you know, to sue, you know, write petition against, you know, DSS and all that. So we all know all these things that are playing and all that. So for the fact that somebody is just, you know, playing God over somebody doesn't mean that you are actually God. All right, that's my message to Wike. Then also, Wike also came to the television to say that there is nobody in America that will say that Donald Trump use that kind of statement on Donald Trump. It's not true. It's lies. Go to the internet space and go and see. There was a lady who called Donald Trump criminal. But Donald Trump is not going to take such statements serious because he has a lot of things to focus on. A lot of people called him thieves, called him all sorts of names, but he has something to focus. So all these things that is just happening in our political space, just that Wike, they are just using all this as propaganda. That's what it is. So if you know that those proceeds were actually, those properties were actually gifts and they are not properties bought with proceeds of looting and crime, go to America for that summit. Just prove us wrong and go to America for that summit. That's all I will say. So for Sowore, I want to tell you, Sowore, you alone cannot make, if you are a tree, you alone cannot make a forest. You need to, you see, for Peter Obi to come down and come and collaborate with the likes of Atiku and the other people, which we all know that amongst all of them, Peter Obi is still the most, even if he's not perfect, he's still the one that is chosen amongst all criminal records. You think he doesn't know what he's doing? He knows what he's doing. That's why Peter Obi, had to calm down, because the only way to take our nation back is to collaborate with people who are grounded in the political scene of Nigeria. If you think you want to emerge, you want to come out alone as a presidential candidate, and you think Nigerians will just vote for you without having a structure or collaborating with, no, it won't work. You will just do this presidential ambition until it fades away. Everybody can be wrong. Even our Lord Jesus, our God in heaven, forgave us our sins because we are not righteous. And that's why he reconciled us to God. So for the people that have sinned in the past, political leaders who have sinned in the past, doesn't mean that they don't have they have every right to change. They have every right to change. So, Showore, please, what you would do here, we like what you are doing. We like as you are exposing these people. It's only two people right now that can look at the government face and tell them that this is who you are, nothing will happen. You know what? Why nothing will happen? Because the government too is afraid. They don't know what those people have. And there are two people, very dark man and Omoyele Showore. That's why when they pick very dark man, they seize this phone because they want to know. They don't know the secret the guy is having against them. So Showore, please look into this and stop talking down on all political aspirants or political class. See, nobody is perfect here. Nobody is perfect, including you, including me, including even the pastors and bishops you are seeing everywhere. Nobody is perfect. The only perfect human being that has ever lived is Christ. No other person. All right, I will leave it here. Share this video, like it, repost it, and I'll see you in my next.
I am making this video because I got tagged in one post by one Larry Olayinka, who I understand is a fairly used data boy by ex-governor of Ekiti State, who later transferred him for further reuse. But yeah, you know all these Atowoda political hallelujah boys, you transfer them for further reuse by others as far as you are in the same political camp. I've been seeing the posts, but I wasn't interested until this journalist, Felix Igebo, who I personally know in Lagos, tagged me and wanted my response or clarification to the claims. First, I understand it was a deliberate diversion to the exposés now going on Larry's new political master or principal. So he's trying to divert attention from it by looking for anything to say about Showore. While it is not out of place to call anybody out if you feel they erred in any way, my only job here is to respond to whether Showore delivered on training journalists, because the part that caught me is he didn't train any journalists. And I'm sure Felix Igebo, who tagged me in this post too, knew me very well as a citizen reporter for Sahara Reporters for some years up till about 2016, and wanted me to shed light if I knew anything about what the claim about grants or whatsoever is. Yes, I served with Sahara Reporters between 2012 and 2016 as a freelance citizen reporter, so we call ourselves then, I was part of the formation of Sahara TV in Lagos. By the time they would start the Sahara Media Foundation in Lagos was about the time I was moving on to other things, and it was about the same time I also started Objective Media. I'm aware that they got a Mercator Foundation funding I don't know exact amount, but I think it was around, at that time, maybe $40,000, maybe $400,000. I know it had 4 in it, but I'm not sure because, yeah. But I'm aware that they started a civic media lab in Lagos, and at the launch, they had Professor Wole Soyinka in attendance, they had Seun Kuti in attendance, They had a lot. I wasn't there myself because I was already busy with some other things, personal sojourns too. But after I came back, I went to also visit the Civic Media Lab. And I'm aware that trainings were ongoing for aspiring young journalists, citizen reporters, so to call. In fact, the time I hosted First the Bad Guy, in fact, I hosted the Gon Baba Oja in that place at the start of his career. I hosted many student journalists, student activists. Some were facing rustication, were fighting for. Some were, if you ask the likes of Femi Adeyeye, it was a time Femi Adeyeye started becoming hot. There was Kebelu, and so we did a lot of things. But beyond my own hosting with the media center, some of that times I visited, I noticed there were other trainings going on. As a matter of fact, one of the times I visited, there were sessions going on by Professor Pius Adesomi, Mrs. Bamidele Ademola Olateju, if you know at that time of Premium Times fame. And there were young people who were diligently paying attention, rapt attention to teachings, deep discussions, philosophical deliberations by Professor Pius Adesomi and his co-hosts at that time. Permit me, Professor Pius Adesomi is of blessed memory now. For those of you who understand what I'm saying, it's a deep, emotional moment for me right now as I'm discussing this. So